From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge afternoon on Afternoons LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. Today, in this recording, we go over the breaking news that is formulating in that fourth stimulus check, a monthly stimulus check, the biggest payout you ever see in the history of this channel. We'll go over how much you're going to get under the fourth stimulus check, who's going to get it, when you're going to get it, and what is the breaking news formulating today. Then we'll go to this stimulus that'll raise your benefits up, and we'll compare it against the Warren plan and show why it's paying more money than ever anticipated. And the breaking news about this as well. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money that viewers continue to get, and we'll go over the incredible money you can still get. And I'm really excited for you. It's a big afternoon. Let's get to it. From the East Coast to the West Coast, from my home to your home, from Wall Street to Main Street, this is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful middle of the week. Boy, halfway to the weekend, can you imagine? Almost there. How's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. It is June gloom poster child day here in Southern California. It is gloomy, it is dark, and I'm loving it. I can deal without a heat wave. So hopefully it's not too warm where you are. Drop in the comments where you're watching from and how the weather is. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today, we go over the incredible great news about that monthly stimulus check. We'll be comparing the House bill and the Senate proposal. We'll be going over all the routing times and learning how this gets to the finish line and the breaking news that is absolutely wonderful. Then in the middle of the recording, we go over the big money you can land in your bank account, and I'll make sure you get that money as well. And then we go also over to fifth stimulus that will raise your benefits a lifetime, and why that lifetime will be through the roof because of the benchmark this December. Boy, what wonderful news. This is LALATE, your only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel online at all. Broadcasting live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. After this is Evenings LALATE, 2 hours after this, followed by Evenings Crypto. And then after that is our Evenings LALATE overnight broadcast of Overnight Crypto. And those two new shows that joined the lineup, overnight evenings, and then tomorrow morning, overnights mornings, before we go into new shows next morning on Early Mornings LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. No one does what we do. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check with the House bill and the Senate proposal. The House bill is written by Jolapal, and it provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Let's compare that House bill versus the Senate proposal. The House bill provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year monthly on a monthly basis. The Senate proposal provides a stimulus check from July to December. Now let's compare the monthly payouts. The House bill provides $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The Senate amount is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow. Wonderful news. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. If you're tuning in to the show when it debuts at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, jump into the live chat and get ready to vote House or Senate, and also say where you're tuning in from. If you're watching it later in the day, jump into the comments under the video. House or Senate and where you're tuning in from. But don't vote yet. There is a new macroeconomic factor we need to consider when considering the Jolapal House bill. It's the pandemic plus 1 year element. Well, insiders believe that legislators may contend the pandemic is over for purposes of legislation. That would leave the House bill with stimulus checks for 1 year, not pandemic for 1 year. Stimulus checks for 1 year under the House bill of Jolapal's is $13,000 over 12 months. Let's compare that against the Senate. over 6 months. Oh, yes. So now do you have an opinion? I think you do. I think you have an opinion. So drop into the live chat right now or in the comments under the video and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, which one do you like? And also state where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. All right, let's go over all the other incredible details about that fourth stimulus check. First, who gets it? You get it. So if you are 75,000 or less single individual income in last year, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Double it. If you are a household or four or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And then if you are on benefits like SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. Congratulations. Next, the fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would not come in waves because it's a monthly stimulus check. There's no time for waves. And finally, the fourth stimulus check is the same amount for everyone, for adults, for minor dependents, for adult dependents. Wonderful news. The fourth stimulus check may or may not be taken out for child support. We don't know that detail yet. And the fourth stimulus check would go to a vote no later than July 4th. The legislators represent. Remember, they make representations, not me. I'm just a reporter reporting what they're representing. That means you would get your fourth stimulus check starting in the month of July for the month of July, in the month of August for the month of August. And there you go. That is the start of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. But in just a second, I have some breaking news for you and no less than 7 other breaking news stories that led up to today. It's coming up in just a second. But let's turn to the wonderful news about fifth stimulus coming this fall. It'll raise your benefits up one time and then apply a benchmark. And we're learning more about that benchmark today. That benchmark is inflation. This is for you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or survivor benefits, or multiple benefits. And it's all wonderful news. It's coming up in the second half of this recording. So now let's turn to some big moolah, some big money. As Sir Loin would say, I love that money. Give me lots of it. And that money is available for you, and I want you to get it. This channel has been dedicated since day one to getting viewers money. I don't just run news stories. I get you money. I actually work on helping you get to the finish line. And on this channel, we do one thing. Cash checks, not track checks. So we don't want to be watching what day a stimulus check is landing on our bank account. We want to be cashing checks. And it starts right now. I'm going to show you how I can get thousands of dollars for you. So get a pen and paper ready. Stay to the very end of this video. I have a lot of money for you, and it's starting right now. $350 billion. No, it's not all $350 billion for you. This is not the Publishers Clearinghouse. This is not Let's Make a Deal. No, that's a share. So it's coming from your federal government to your city, counties, and states this week and last week. And what is it for? It's for rent. It starts with rent, renters assist utilities, homeowners utilities, and homeowners mortgage. It's wonderful. And you're going to reach out to 6 locations, which I'm about to show you in just a second. But what's important to know is that every location has a different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next because they may say yes. They also have their own pot of money. All right, you're ready with that pen and paper? We're going over those 6 locations. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. You're going to reach out to them and ask for rent assistance because of COVID. And you're not going to use the word stimulus because they don't know that word. Also, don't use the word ketchup. They ketchup? No, we don't have ketchup. Just stimulus and ketchup. Don't use those 2 words. So you're going to reach out and ask for rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You can also mention, if you want, the Biden Economic Recovery Act. And how much money does it give you? A lot of money. $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent approximately. Also money for utilities, mortgage assistance. So go get it. Congratulations to Tim, to Linda, and to those others that continue to get this money for rent and utilities. If you are one of the viewers who have gotten any of this incredible money, whether it's rent or EIDL, Jean Chrome yesterday jumped into the live chat. She got her 3rd round of EIDL, if I'm saying it correctly. She got the grant, then the remainder of the grant, and then the other grant. Wow, so Jean is just killing it. If you have any success story, drop in the live chat, drop it in the comments to the video, because it inspires others to know that the videos are helping and that people are getting the money. When we turn next to the next group of money, Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, for her mom. Gail got it for herself. And what is it? It is SNAP. It is that wonderful program that viewers have just been killing it on this channel. And if you've been a success story as well, drop in the comments. What is SNAP? How much is it? And how do you get it? It is money for your food from the Department of Agriculture. Who do you get it from? Department of Agriculture. So you reach out to them and say, I want to get on SNAP. And don't mention ketchup either. Or stimulus. And you're going to ask for rent. You're not going to ask for rent assistance because of COVID either, because they're SNAP. They're for food. The rent? What do you mean rent? So it's SNAP. And how much do they pay? They pay a lot of money. $16,000 for a family of 4 out of Hawaii for 1 year. One viewer yesterday in the live chat said, Ellen, I got $500 up. I think it was from 2 something. I think it was $495 the viewer is getting. That's an enormous amount of money. I mean, that is just, I was so excited for that viewer. So go get that money. Why is this money so much currently? Because of 2 executive orders, which are wonderful. One from Biden, one from Trump that raised everyone's benefits up 15% for 1 year. So go get it. All right, we're doing great. 11 minutes into this video, we've gotten $16,000 for rent, for SNAP, and then $5,000 for rent. Let's turn to the other incredible great news, and it starts with this one right now. The federal government has identified states that have overpaid you unemployment benefits, then asked you to return it back to them as organizations that made a mistake. The federal government has now ordered those states to return the money back to you. One viewer got $5,000 out of this. So let's go over what it is, how you get it, and when you get it. If you got overpaid unemployment benefits at any time in the last year due to a computer error at your state, and then had to return the money back to you, congratulations, you're getting that money back due to a federal order against states to return the money back to you. Wow, wonderful news. Next, how are you going to get it? On the bank account you have on file automatically with that unemployment department. Finally, when are you getting it? Check your respective state. Different routing times occur with each state. Now, the next pot of money is wonderful, and it's coming from the federal government, and it is the refund of your payments on unemployment benefits from 2020. Let's go over how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, how you're going to get it, and how to track it. Thank you for that wonderful viewer who got the money last Friday when you didn't know he got it. Another viewer got $2,000. Viewers continue to get it. Let's go over the details. The federal government is returning back the amount of taxes you paid on that $10,200 or less of unemployment benefits. Here's an example. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid taxes to IRS on the 2020 tax return, of which your total tax bill was $5,000. And of that total tax bill, $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment assistance. Congratulations. You are getting back a check for $4,000. Next, when? Over the next 2 weeks, the checks were all sent out in the month of May. And then how can you track it? You can go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, put your social security number in, and nearly about 70% of the time, you will be able to do something called a transcript search. A transcript search shows on any activity under your name, your social security number. You will see the payment to IRS, the tax return to IRS, and the refund check for IRS. Finally, how are you going to get the check? This is probably the most important detail of this video, which is in the mail, in a beige or white envelope. It is a razor thin envelope. So you want to go surgically slow through the mail over the first 2 weeks of June because you do not want to throw away that check. And there you go. If there's anything that could be better than that, it is. And it's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 continuing right now. The fourth stimulus check update of 2021 got really incredible news just a few days ago when Leader Schumer confirmed not one, but all 3 facets of this channel. Number 1, Leader Schumer confirmed that the reconciliation process has already gone. Number 2, Leader Schumer confirmed that the vote will be done by July 4th. And number 3, Leader Schumer confirmed that the reconciliation process will go ahead despite whatever type of negotiations the president does or doesn't want to do going forward. It's important for you to know before I go into further breaking news updates is that the reconciliation process had begun before Chuck Schumer had announced that. The reconciliation process has involved writing the legislation, which has already begun in the subcommittees. And those subcommittees do not just reveal everything they do with you. They typically just have it done and they say, here it is. So that process has been fully underway already. All right, let's go to the breaking news that led up to all this excitement. It started with Jalapal, who wrote that House bill to the president, wrote that House bill providing those monthly stimulus checks several weeks ago. When Jalapal wrote that House bill, no less than 100 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to put those monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Remember, it's their efforts that put them in there, not the president, because he doesn't write legislation. He's the executive branch. So what happened with Jalapal about a week ago? Jalapal wrote Leader Schumer a letter saying, call the vote. The reconciliation bills have nearly been finished being written. Call the vote. What are we waiting around for? And it got even better than that. When Jalapal wrote that letter, nearly a dozen House Democrats signed the letter to Schumer. And those nearly a dozen legislators are among those that had sent that letter to the president weeks earlier saying, we're going to put the monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Wow, that is incredible, great news. Now, can it get better? It got a lot better. It got a lot better when about a week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to work with you to put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Now, work with you is a euphemism because ultimately legislators write the legislation, not the president. But who are these people to say they are going to write it? It gets better. It gets really better, a lot better. These 7 legislators are on the House subcommittee that is solely and exclusively responsible for writing legislation about stimulus checks. Only their subcommittee writes the legislation about stimulus checks in the House. They wrote the first stimulus check, they wrote the second stimulus check, they wrote the third stimulus check, and just days ago they wrote the president saying, we're going to be writing the fourth stimulus check. Oh my goodness. I should say checks. Checks, plural. That sounds so much better because that's what they wrote. Does it get better than that? It does. The president has basically confirmed over a week ago that he wants the vote to start, the reconciliation process to start, and that he will continue to have bipartisan negotiations to some extent, but that is not going to hold, he is not going to hold up the reconciliation process. As a former senator, he knows how the reconciliation process goes. He knows how long it takes, and he's not going to hold it up by having a lunch with someone. Today, he had lunch with another person. That's not to hold up the reconciliation process. But it got even better when last Tuesday, the president did a real shocking developing detail. It's wonderful, but it's a little complicated, so I'm going to slow this one down. The fourth stimulus is paid by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. It's currently 21%. So what did the president do last Tuesday? Not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that. The president reached out to leaders of foreign countries and said, I want to agree with us to raise the global minimum corporate tax rate. What's a global minimum corporate tax rate? It means that there would be a minimum corporate tax rate if you want to relocate your business, let's say from New York to France, that you won't want to move it because the rate is much higher and it's not cost advantageous. Great news. And they said yes. So later in the day, it got even better. When the president told insiders that after fourth stimulus is passed, he's going to reach out to those G7 countries to have them sign on the dotted line to approve of that global minimum corporate tax rate. And if they do, that he's going to come back and drop our U.S. corporate tax rate down a little bit lower. That is incredible, wonderful news. Multiple stimulus checks and then a lower corporate tax rate. Does it get better than that? It does. It got better than that later last week, not last week, but the week before Memorial Day weekend, when the president first rejected the Republicans' counterproposal, and then the senators, not Schumer, but other senators came out and said, call the vote. And there you are. Away we go. We are in the reconciliation process. The reconciliation process has begun. The legislators have already been writing the legislation. They didn't just start on Memorial Day, the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. They started far before. But the official commencement was announced on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. The reconciliation process, voting is looming and just around the corner. And so is the excitement. And I have more about that excitement in the second half of this video when I go over the voting process so you understand it. I also have the exciting details about fifth stimulus, but there's something even more exciting. And it's the volunteers on the community page. Since day one, the spirit of this channel has been helping others. Helping others. I don't just run news stories. I actually go out of my way to help people. I got viewers $25 million in EIDL loans that we're not doing because I personally handheld them through the application process. I then helped get viewers $250,000 for rent, utilities, and assistance under the first stimulus before second stimulus came out. And then we've been back doing it ever since. But there's other people that help others on this channel, and they are the volunteers. They are salt of the earth. They embody the purple power spirit, which is helping one another. And if you're having problems with getting rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, reach out to the volunteers, because we're cashing checks on this channel. We're not tracking checks. They're on the community page. How do you find the community page? Very easy. Open the description to this video. Go down in the description till you see an emoji of a house. Click on that link next to it. It says community page. It sends you to news.lalate.com/community. There is a picture of some cats. Those aren't the volunteers. Lower on the page, below the cats, are the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them if you have tried to get that rent and utilities and mortgage assistance or internet, and they'll be able to help you. They are salt of the earth, and they are wonderful. Here's a little bit about them, and I will be back in 60 seconds with more exciting details about your fourth stimulus, your fifth stimulus, and a personal message. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE. How are you doing? How's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. This is Afternoons LALATE, and I'm taped with you from Santa Monica, California on a beautiful afternoon. I hope your afternoon is wonderful as well. Continuation of fourth stimulus check update is coming up in just a second in this video. Also for stimulus, but first, subscribe. This is LALATE, your only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Coming up next is Evenings LALATE in 2 hours from now, with big exciting news still about your fourth stimulus. Then 2 hours after that is Evenings Crypto. And then Overnights Crypto. And then added to this programming slot is now 2 Overnights throwback shows, reruns of your favorite shows from holiday decor and more. Hit that subscribe button. 400,000 subscribers and a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. The value of membership is detailed in just a second as we turn now to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with that incredible change to SSI and SSDI. A lot more than Elizabeth Warren was ever going to provide for you. I'm going to go over the analysis for you right now and compare and contrast. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with raising the program's mounts across the board. It starts with the following. Increase the benefit limits, removing the asset limit, adding an inflationary benchmark. Then we're going to remove the income exclusion and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let's go over all those wonderful details starting right now. I'm going to go over what that means, and I'm going to go over the calculations, the analysis, the breaking news, and then compare it against the Warren plan. So first, they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or survivor benefits, or multiple benefits. You'll raise your benefits up one big time. Then they're going to apply a benchmark. That benchmark is inflation. What's a benchmark? Every December, you get a letter that says next year your benefits are going to stay the same or go up. They never step down. So the benchmark is going to be inflation. let's go over what the breaking news is today. The breaking news this morning talked about what's going on in the auto industry of all sources. Currently, the auto industry today, we learned, has that horrible semiconductor chip shortage. So car demand for new purchase of new vehicles is absolutely through the roof because there's very few new cars on the lots. And as a result, they now report that the shortest time ever seen in U.S. history of delivery of cars from manufacturer to door is now 7 days. That meaning once the car lands at the port from the manufacturer, it is literally in people's driveway within 7 days because there's so much demand. That's because there's a shortage of cars but a high demand. That's now, though. They talk about in the fall that that shortage will no longer be there. There'll be enough cars and the demand will drop. That is suggesting that perhaps there'll be deflation, not higher inflation. Interesting. So Jeremy Siegel about 2 weeks ago said, we're seeing 20% inflation potentially in December. Federal Reserve said we're going to go from 4% to 10.5% in December, contradictory to what I just detailed. They think it's going to go higher, not lower. And then we have a lot of analysts that are talking about, that's growth, and then they have a lot of analysts that are talking about 4 to 7%. We got to choose a number. So let's just choose a number for purpose of calculating this out. Let's see 6%. Well, 6% inflation, that would mean that they would raise your benefits up one time under fifth stimulus. And then in December, your benchmark would be 6% inflation. It would step up next year for 6%. But not just next year. Once it steps up, it never steps down. So you will always be at plus 6% lifetime. This is why having the highest inflationary rate of a generation in December when they determine what your benefits will be for next year is wonderful news for you, because once you step up at that number, you're always going to be at that number. Let's say a year from now, the inflation is 0. You don't step down, you still stay at plus 6%. And the year after that, the inflation rate is 1%, then you're plus 1 plus 6%. It's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap. The asset cap is dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. That's going to go away just in time to get those stimulus checks in your hand. Then they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty, a horrible provision that penalizes you. Finally, love is going to win. You'll be able to marry a longtime love interest, not suffer from the marriage penalty, not be denied benefits, and no longer be penalized. This fifth stimulus goes out in about September. They represent with the finalization, likely to hit your bank account around October, November, and then the step up happening in January. Now, comparing this to the Elizabeth Warren plan, it's a lot more money. I mean, Elizabeth Warren plan was to provide you a stimulus add-on. That does not provide this. And then to give you a step up, this gives you a bigger step up, and then to give you a new benchmark. Her benchmark was going to be CPIE, which would be this small, and lifetime this small. You're having a benchmark this big lifetime. So this is a huge, big difference. Also, she was not going to get rid of the marriage penalty, remove the income exclusion, or remove the asset exclusion. So this, after just a few months, pays a substantial, massive amount lifetime compared to Elizabeth Warren plan. All right, it's important to understand that this stimulus, however, has a lot of other things in there besides just that. And in a given day, I don't have enough time to go over what's in fifth stimulus. With a 28-minute video currently running for 30-minute total time, I don't have time to go over everything else that's in fifth stimulus. Here's an example. The president's fifth stimulus is called the American Family Plan, but there's money in there for single people, money in there for single hazard pay, money in there for single seniors. And guess what? I don't have time to ever go through all these details, nor do I have time to go through what's in fourth stimulus or to go over everything that you're entitled to under third stimulus. And that's the value of membership. The membership link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. Every day, members are delivered from me to them, a link and a delineation of everything that's in the third, fourth, and fifth stimulus, PDFs, and a breakdown of all the monies you're entitled to under third stimulus, under fourth stimulus, and under fifth stimulus. So consider becoming a member so that you have access to all this information, because I don't have enough time in a single video to cover 3 stimulus packages and all the wonderful provisions. Moreover, at least subscribe. And subscriber link is in the link to this video as well. Subscribe, because the month of July is going to be a complicated month with a lot of things landing the same month. And you may hear something and get confused which one it is. Finally, let's go back to that voting. The voting process for the fourth stimulus check is very important to know. It's a 9-step process, and that 9-step process is required by the Constitution. It is not something randomly created by any politician or any party. It is required by the Constitution to be followed, and I'm going to go over those 9 steps with you starting right now. The first half are procedural. The second half are substantive. Step 1, the House subcommittee votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill. At that point, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Next, the substantive bill is done by the House subcommittee. That's like the House Ways and Means Committee doing the multiple stimulus checks if they want to at that point. Step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8 are when the vote-a-rama happens in the Senate, and those senators can add in the multiple stimulus checks at the vote-a-rama during amendment, or can amend anything that the House members had done before. The House members can or cannot choose to not do anything, and if they don't do anything, then the senators can add it in at the Senate level. And then finally, step 9, the President signs into law. You see then a 9-step process that requires voting. And there's no way to cut corners. It's important to understand that this is the process that goes by, and we're going to stay on top of it. Finally, a personal message, which is important for you to know going into this evening. It's important to know that the 9-step process is a process, and the Purple Power needs to step up. And at this point, I'm telling Purple Power to start stepping up. If you've been with this channel since day one, we know that these legislators have made promises, have put it in writing, have put it in a bill, and sometimes taken it out of bill. And ultimately, until it's law, that we have to always push. We can never take anything for granted. That's why there's an emoji in the live chat that says not bill yet, not law yet. If we look back on the history of the last year, they didn't deliver FPUC retro. They didn't deliver anything that the problem solvers were going to give us. They didn't deliver on the $5,000 EIDL grant for everyone. They didn't deliver on the $10,000 EIDL grant for everyone. They didn't deliver on the EIDL increase for a lot of people. They didn't deliver on the SS200 of Elizabeth Warren, but are now trying to pick it up under fifth stimulus. There's a lot of things where there was Bernie Sanders who said he was going to hold up the vote when it landed in the Senate, folded like a lawn chair. Josh Hawley said that he was going to hold up the vote, didn't hold it up. There was the CARES Act. There was the $3,200 for adult dependents. There's a lot of times where they've actually written a bill, they've actually called the bill for a vote, and they've actually not come through. So it's important to understand that these legislators need as much pushing as possible. It's also important to understand that what we've done as a viewership of a channel. They were not going to give us second stimulus. I came up with the sole idea, the only person to come up with this idea to put a stimulus check into a continuing resolution in December of last year. I told you, Purple Power, to step up. You did. You got that stimulus into the CR with hashtag stimulus CR. Then they tried to backtrack on us and take out the stimulus check and just do stimulus. We pushed back further and they put the stimulus check into the CR. That was showing the power of the Purple Power. There were other times in fall of 2020 when they weren't doing eviction moratorium, that Mnuchin was not raising the stimulus check offer. We got these changes effectuated. So I want you, Purple Power, to take these videos and share them, post them on Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hashtag MSE, hashtag Purple Power. Tag the elected officials. Keep it positive, keep it focused, keep it motivated. Get the message out loud and clear. Stimulus check, multiple stimulus check. Finally, it's important for you to know that ultimately the viewership of this channel is very smart and sophisticated. We all know nothing is solidified into stone until it's signed into law. And the fact that it has not been signed into law means it is not a done deal. And until it's not a done deal, anything can happen. It's also important to understand that on the other side of the microscope, there's some people that have really tried to jump into some of the chats and deliver a very negative tone. As the Purple Power, we don't allow that. And so if you see that, inspire them with information that's correct. Tell them what the correct information is with that as well. And I will see you next on Evenings LA. I have more exciting breaking news as well. It's going to be a big day. And then we go into Evenings Crypto. So subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. I don't want you to miss any breaking details. I want you to share these videos, post them on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. Tell people to come on over. Also, like this video. to 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon. Never go outside without sunscreen. I don't know where that came from. And never call up asking for rent by saying ketchup. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.